Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Unvarnished. I'm Chris Hyde, and that's Darren Painter. And today on the show, we have Denver Annunciation from Janus International in India. Welcome, Denver.
Hi, everyone.
All right.
Nice to be in touch.
Great to see you, as always. We were just reminiscing that we usually get together once a year, so I guess this is 1.5. So we start off our episodes with the easiest question there is to answer, which is, give us your backstory. Tell us the story behind Janus International, how you got involved with print and established such a robust company.
So, Chris, I am actually a second generation business person. The business was started by my dad way back in the 80s. You can say I'm a reluctant entrepreneur because I had no intention initially of joining my dad's business. I wanted to make a career in IT. So, in fact, while I was studying, while I was graduating, I did a part-time IT course way back in the 90s. Sorry, not in the 90s, somewhere in post 2000, 2001. And my dad sort of had some health issues, and then I just decided to join business because I wanted to help him, and that's how I joined the business. Obviously, when I joined it, it was very old school, operating from a very small place, ancient machinery. So, old single color letterpress equipment. I don't know if half of the people here have even seen the equipment. And I told Dad, if I'm coming in, the only thing I want to do is I want to modernize. And if I'm given a free hand to modernize, then I'm joining you. Otherwise, there's no point. I'll go and find my own way. And he did give us a free hand. He gave me a free hand to start with, and then after that, when my brother joined Janus, he had the same free hand. And I think because he gave us a free hand, we took it as our own challenge, and we did the first major expansion way back in 2003 when we got our first flexo. And from then on, it's no looking back. Digital came in 2008. Before digital came in 2008, we already had 4 flexos running. And today we have about 13 presses, a mix of flexo, offset, and digital.
So when you came into the business, was the business involved in label and packaging?
Yes. So in fact, the company that I joined was called Janus Flexibles, and we used to do very soft, very thin board monocartons and labels. But most of them were wet glue. They were not sticker labels, not PSL.
Got it.
And a very, very small operation. I mean, if I look back in the beer industry, we would produce about 1 million beer labels a week. Now I produce 1 million beer labels in 8 hours on a single press. We have 7 of these presses.
Wait. Okay. Back up a little bit. Okay. So 1 million in how many hours now? Wait.
In about a shift, in 8 hours.
Okay. So you went from a million
a week,
okay.
1 million a week to 1 million in about 8 hours on a single press, and we have 7 of these presses running.
Okay, you do the rest of the math for me. How many is that so from 1 million in a week? What are you doing in a week now?
So now we what we have is a installed capacity of about 20 million wet glue labels a day.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. How did you ramp up your production so quickly in those early years, especially?
So like we always say, it's always one step at a time. Something my dad always said. It's there on our website. It's there everywhere. It's part of a philosophy. One step at a time. We never reached here. We did not reach here overnight. And it's been a journey from journey that we started. That dad started in 1996, and then we took over. And I would say 2003 was when our first flexo press came in. So from 2003 to 2005, that's how long it took.
Denver, when your father said, "Okay, let's modernize. What can you do? Let's try." What were the first things you did?
I did everything. First and foremost, you need to understand that we were a very small business. If I just take, I take simple thing as say accounts. The accounts used to, all the invoices and all the paper. It was nothing was computerized. It was all papers. So all these papers would be filed, and once a year or at the end of the year, these files would then go to my accountant and my chartered accountant to finalize the balance sheet. So that's when I joined the business. That's how things work. And so the first thing that I computerized was the accounts. We put the accounts onto software that we use very popularly in India right now called Tally. And this was the first computerization that happened. And then then I could get a balance sheet every minute, every hour. Each time I updated, we had the balance sheet visible. So that was the first thing I did. And after that, the whole modernization, what you call, process started. And then we realized that something as simple as licensing we did not have an import export license. So I had to go and get that. Then to get that, then we needed some other licenses. So then we had to go and get maybe a licensing from the local authority. So it was a very nice learning experience for me. Like I said, I did everything. I literally did everything, right from getting the license to getting the import export license to then going to the bank and getting a loan sanction for the expansion, and finally placing the order. When the machine actually came, I actually went to the port to see it in the container, and and I opened it and wow, finally. And after it got installed, I actually operated for about I worked on the press for about 6 months. So I've done everything. But you need to understand the business was really tiny then, and it allowed me to do all this. Not something I can do today.
Do you think having that kind of deep exposure to every part of the business helped how you look at the business?
Definitely, definitely. So I actually know, I would say, every nut and every bolt, but every screw is. So now that I have a bird's eye view, it helps me keep the little things in mind and then take big decisions.
So it's you're not an IT guy anymore. You're clearly a little bit more than that.
So
Yeah.
I don't do programming anymore, but when I do the design of it, it my background, my experience that I had on the shop floor helps me design the solution accordingly.
Right. So what have you become now within the business? Like what are you overseeing? Like what does your day-to-day look like?
So I'd like to define my current role as something called as strategic initiatives. So anything that is strategic, whether it's IT, whether it's capex, whether it's long-term management of funds, anything that requires any long-term focus, that's where I am involved. That's what I involve myself in. You can call it future planning. You can call it, I mean, anything. But we call it strategic initiatives.
I'm gonna get geeky and dive into this. So what does that look like within the company? Like, do you have um, committees or groups for each part, like those each of those initiatives, or is it just you and Janice or you and another person that are doing that, or is it more group oriented when you're looking at those initiatives?
So yes, as a company, we have evolved now. Janice and me travel a bit. So when we travel, we use this time to brainstorm. So every transit at the airport, every flight, every stay at in the night after we finish a conference or an exhibition, we are sitting and discussing the day. We are brainstorming, and this helps us to devise plans that we want to do over the next maybe 3 months, 6 months, a year, or 3 years. So the plan that we just finished last year was a plan that we devised 3 years ago. It was a 3 year plan, and we just completed it. I would say in October last year. The final piece of the puzzle came in. Uh, to answer your question, we now have teams to execute. It's no more just Janus and me. Obviously, we make a, a sort of I would say a gist or just an idea, but the implementation, the debugging, or we want to call it, or if you want to call it debugging, or you can call it, we test our ideas with a whole group of people. So I may or may not be right, you know, and if I involve a larger group of people to test the idea or to brainstorm along with them, then the chance of failure is much lower. Also, we get a buy-in from everyone else, so that if something is going wrong, everyone is also involved in making it right. It's no more just me or Janus, you know. So that's the process we follow now. So we get the idea, brainstorm with a larger team. So we call it a core team. We have a core team now, and again they're called the solutions team. So we brainstorm with this team, and then we implement.
How did you build the team? I'm just curious.
Oh, again, piece by piece, one by one need at a time. So obviously, when you start, you involve your number two or your number three or your number four, but then this team then now has evolved into, say, maybe my quality control manager or the supervisors, or it could even be my IT team. In some cases, it could be my accounts team, or in some cases, it could be the marketing team. So it depends on what the project is, who's involved, and then accordingly we work with the teams in the company. If we feel that we don't have somebody, then we try and get somebody. So again, the core team will come together and say, okay, let's say I don't have somebody in HR, or I don't have somebody in quality control. So who do I get? Do I promote somebody internally? Do I hire from outside? If we promote somebody from inside, are they qualified? Do they have the skill set? Can they manage it? It's always a lot of thought that goes into any decision that we take, and then we implement.
Speaking of hiring and talent, um, I know here in the U.S., I know in Europe, there's a difficulty finding good talent. What is the talent base like, or what is the labor force market like in India?
In terms of numbers, yes, we have a lot of population which needs to be employed. Are they employable? If you just think it's plug and play, that I just get someone off the table and I mean, off college or off and employ them, that's not going to happen. So what we do now is we do take freshers. We prefer taking freshers, but we mentor them. And the conversations that I have with my managers and whoever is a mentor in the organization is that, look, your role is now a mentor. You're not The person is not only reporting to you, but you have to mentor that person to do their job. And if they approach it as a mentor rather than as a boss, I think the success rate is higher.
And do you need to provide different types of tools for people to become a mentor? Because it's not the same as being a boss. Do this, do that, and being a mentor is very different. Have you provided any kind of tools or training for people to become a mentor?
Honestly, no, we have not. But we have identified people in the organization that can mentor people. So it's not everyone's cup of tea. Not everybody is a mentor. Not everybody has the, what I would call, the tenacity to go through that process. And we fortunately have identified quite a few people in the company who can be really good mentors. They're excellent at delegation, excellent at developing the next line. And in what I've seen, some of them can train anybody from a CEO to a sweeper. They can train anyone.
Wow.
And these are the best mentors.
So Denver, you have this modernization and you have this team to pull it off now. Let's talk about your customers, if we can, for a minute. What are you seeing? What are they needing now that they didn't need before? What might be on your 3-year future vision? That takes in mind what customers in India need today.
A lot of our plans that we sort of implemented in the last 3 years was based on that India is going to grow. We have the largest population in the world. We also have one of the youngest populations in the world. So, considering this scenario, we are expecting a certain kind of I won't say exponential growth, but a good consistent growth is what we are looking at, and we have designed everything for. Now, obviously, the first thing are the basic what you call as factors that are required. Land, building, capital, equipment. These are the basic things that we planned for. The next step that we are now working on is the human aspect, so the team, and along with the team is how do we enable them to do their work, and that's where the IT part comes in. So the most important thing about our IT design or the systems that we have is that the systems are being designed so that it enables the team to do their job. It's not there to monitor them. It's not there to eliminate them. Okay, but it is there to enable them, and that is the whole reason why we have the IT, the automation or the whatever systems we use.
So, but before we jumped on, you were mentioning Denver, the breakdown of your the types of work you do, and you mentioned beer labels. And for the audience, do you mind giving us a breakdown of the kinds of work you do and for who you're doing it for?
So we started off as a wet glue label producer, like I mentioned, and this got us into the beer industry as well as the liquor industry. Those days, liquor industry were using a lot of wet glue labels with foil stamping and a lot of value add. Over a period of time, this business shifted to pressure sensitive labels, but the beer business stayed as a wet glue label, a kind of a product, and that's how we started. And we sort of got hyper focused onto that industry. Uh, Somewhere when I joined, I found the business to be, let's just say, a bit monotonous, and we wanted a new challenge. Also, we were too focused on that. We had 99% of our turnover coming only from beer, and so for a lot of reasons, we wanted a challenge. We wanted to diversify. We wanted to de-risk the business. We decided to invest in digital. So we took a call in 2008 that okay, let's look at another product line or look at options. And digital gave us this option, and that's when we started adding customers. So today, if I just fast forward from 2003 till today, now we have 1,000 customers across products, across industries. We do monocartons, we do in-mold labels, we do laminates, we do shrink sleeves, pressure sensitive labels, uh, and we supply, say, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, liquor, nutraceuticals, industrial. You name a sector or an industry. I might probably have one customer from that.
Wow. And how do you make that decision of what how to get into different verticals like that?
One of my thumb rules is that how can we enter in at the least possible cost? So maybe it would require we use our existing equipment to diversify. So if there is any industry where instantly we can just print uh, existing equipment, that's number one. Number two, if I have to buy any finishing equipment, what is the most economical finishing equipment I can buy? So we use existing equipment, and maybe we make a small investment in the finishing equipment, and that then decides where we go.
What is the India market like for equipment? Is it robust? I mean, are you able to get anything you want as far as equipment goes on your floor, or is it a challenge sometimes?
So fortunately for us today, there is no challenge. We are a open market. There are no restrictions. I think the only restrictions probably would be defense and nuclear power and things like that. But by and large, it's an open market. People can come in and set up, import, no challenge.
Excellent. What are your biggest challenges in the label and packaging market in India right now?
So I think that one of the biggest challenges would be profitability. Uh, Again, India is growing, the volumes are increasing, people are investing in equipment and capacities. But I think the industry. When I say the industry, it's also it involves us entrepreneurs as well as our customers and our buyers. I think we need to adopt a very responsible approach to what should be our costing, what should be the profitability, and it should be sustainable. And I think this right now is the biggest challenge for the industry per se. I think our profitability across the industry is very low, and it doesn't enable us to scale up. As India grows, we need to scale up. We need to do more capital expenditure, and I don't think there is enough of profit for capex. And this would be a challenge as we go down the line.
On the flip side, Denver, what opportunities are exciting to you? Do you see emerging for companies like you over the next couple years?
I mentioned earlier 1.4 billion people. That's it. That's the biggest opportunity we have. There is let's just say that out of this 1.4 billion, there's about 60% of them under the age of 30. So there's a lot. They have to get educated, they have to get married, they have to uh, send their kids to school, they have to buy books, uniforms, they have to consume, they have to enjoy, they have to travel. I don't see, at least for the next 10 years, anything going majorly wrong. Yes, there will be the usual ups and downs, blips will happen. But per se, I see, a consistent growth that will happen. It may slow down, but it will never be negative or never stop. And that is the biggest opportunity. We are at the current juncture right now where we need to take full advantage of the scenario. We have a good government in that is spending on infrastructure, and things are getting better and better. uh, and you can feel the movement, the momentum that is there in the economy and in the whole ecosystem.
You you have been all over the world. I've seen the United States. I've seen your photo pop up in different meetings in India and elsewhere. Uh, why have you taken it upon yourself over the last several years to get involved in D-Scoop and to travel and learn from others and to um, put your ideas out there and give and receive in the way that you have?
So first and foremost, I have to thank DScoop for at least 50% of my travel. 50% of my travel is on account of DScoop, whether it's a conference happening at APJ or the Edge event in the US, uh, or a meeting that could happen in Europe or wherever. Uh, my first travel happened in 2008 after I finished my college. And as part of our graduation, or part of the whole process, our education process, they took us to 5 countries and we did 21 industrial visits over a period of 3 weeks. And that was my first experience visiting different companies and learning. And in fact, one of our professors even had made a checklist about what we should observe when we go on these visits, what we should be looking at. And one of the companies we did visit that time was Toyota in Japan. And it was a what do you say, it was an experience that I can only describe as an orchestra. So you have these different human beings all over the place, and each one playing their own instrument, and when you look at it together, they're producing cars. And trust me, I can't explain it. You have to see it to believe it. The best way is, like I said, an orchestra and as an invisible conductor getting everything together. What was really impressive was that they were producing one car at a time. So when I say they had one car means they were producing multiple cars on a conveyor belt, but their MOQ was one. So they had a conveyor belt, and you can just say, they had car A, then after that followed by car B, followed by car C, then followed by car D. Each of the cars were different. Each of the cars were a different model. Each of the cars had a different paint job or a different color, a different engine, a different door, but they were producing one at a time. And for an industry like an automobile industry to have that kind of capability and be the most productive automobile plant in the world with the least amount of automation, that completely blew my mind. And a lot of what we do today is inspired at that point, and then obviously through dscoop, the next person I happened to meet post that was geostick in the Netherlands, and I spent some time with Case. And he also has a very efficient operation, and when you go there and he has his single machine doing everything in line, and then you apply, okay, I saw this here, now this is something, some of it is being applied from Toyota to what Geostick is doing, and then you develop those connections and those links, and how can we then apply it in our country? How, what can we apply, what can't we apply, or how can we adapt it to our needs? That's how you learn, and that's been my journey. And that's the reason I keep traveling each time I travel. And it doesn't matter if it's a print company or any other company. Even if I go visit a customer and I'm on the shop floor, there's always something to learn, provided you're looking for it. I mean, if you're just looking, go and take a walk, you're not going to learn anything. You should be looking for something.
Perfect words to live by right there. I want to back up a little bit and just ask one question. You had mentioned sustainability when you were talking about your customers a little bit. What does sustainability mean right now in India, and how do you pursue where are you on your sustainability journey?
So right now, in India, means I'm talking now purely from an Indian perspective, not talking about the global, what you say, targets and the global. I'll come to that in some time. From an Indian perspective, we are now looking at eliminating, say, plastic. We're doing small things. So rainwater harvesting, eliminating plastic, and obviously solar. These are three main, I would say, push which the government is three main focus areas that the government is pushing: rainwater harvesting, solar, and eliminating plastic, sort of getting into a more reusable and a recyclable kind of an economy. This is what is being pushed from a government perspective. Obviously, globally, we have the scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, basically reducing your carbon footprint. And so this is also coming in slowly. So by us adopting solar, uh, we are reducing our carbon footprint, at least from an energy point of view. Electric cars are being pushed, hydrogen cars, there is some research going on. CNG is another option we're looking at, hybrid is another option that we're looking at as a country. So these things are happening. Uh, but if you ask me again from an Indian perspective, if you look at our per capita carbon consumption, we are one of the lowest in the world.
Interesting.
Obviously, you multiply by 1.4 billion, it becomes a big thing. But from a on a per capita basis, it is very low. And I think the government's call to sort of uh, keep a target for us by 2070 to reach net zero. I think, sorry, 2070. You'll have to edit that. So our government's target of reaching net zero by 2070, I think, is a reasonable target, considering the fact that we have to do other things before we start looking at pure sustainability. There are things that are more important for us to do before we reach there.
Got it.
So for us to spend on infrastructure or to get good sanitation in is a or getting good clean drinking water all over the place is something that is more important than reducing our carbon footprint. I'm not saying we're not going to do it. We're definitely going to do it, but there are bigger priorities.
Understandable. Darren, any last questions from you?
Yeah, I have one. So you mentioned, Denver, that you went to the port to see the press come off the ship. What do you remember about that day?
So Darren, I have to go back to 2003. So that's roughly 22 years. And I think the first thing that I can think of is a sense of achievement, because it took me 2 years. I joined business in 2001 uh, with the intention that we would expand and we would modernize and get in this equipment. It took me 2 years. So when I finally got in, they opened the container and I stepped in through the container and saw the entire equipment. It was wrapped up in aluminum foil, material. Didn't really get to see it. So there was a sense of achievement, obviously a sense of relief, because it took a lot. There were a lot of hurdles on the way, and it was finally you've come. Finally you're here. I'm finally seeing you after all the trouble you've given me. But that's the main thing that I can think of. But after it came in and we started running it, there were obviously different emotions that came after that, and it really put the importance of hard work, and then seeing your work materialize. And then today, if I look back, then where we were then and now where we are today, and it all started with that one equipment that came in 2003.
That's wonderful.
So a lot of emotions.
That's fantastic. Do you still have that unboxing feeling every time you get a new piece of equipment?
Yes. And I'm on site. I stand there and I watch them unload or offload or whatever they're doing. Interestingly, we just got rid of that equipment. I won't say got rid of, we've just moved that equipment out of our factory last year in October, November. The first machine that came in 2003, because we had to create space. So we kept it for a pretty long time.
Wow, that is great. All right. Before you go, try to throw in maybe two fun questions for you. I'm assuming you have the same weekends that we do, Saturday, Sunday?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Saturday afternoon, you realize you have 1 hour free to do anything you want. Just you. What is it?
I know what I'm going to say, and I know what my wife is also going to say, is that I'm going to go to sleep for an hour. So if I had an hour, I'm taking a nap. And if not a nap, then probably I would go for a nice spa. I'd probably go for a massage or something to relax. And yeah. So a nap would relax me. A massage would relax me. So any of these two.
Okay. That's the first time we've heard that. So kudos to you for a totally new answer. All right. Of all the beverages that come through your factory, if you were going to pick one after your nap or before, what would it be?
Definitely not beer.
Should we cut that out of this interview?
so I'm not a beer drinker. I would probably pick a gin or a rum. But I'm not a beer drinker. My brother Janus is. He loves beer.
Okay. All right. So he has all the beer accounts then.
Yeah. So I'm the big cliche there. I'm the big cliche. So everyone, you do so many beer, so many beer labels. Do you drink beer or no? And I said I don't drink beer.
The irony in that is fun. Excellent. Well, Denver, you've been a wonderful guest, and I knew you would be. Thank you so much for spending the time with us.
Thanks. It's always a pleasure, Chris. And Darren, hoping to see you guys in a few months.
You as
Absolutely.
well.
Looking forward to it.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Bye bye.